Let us now introduce contestant number 5, Miss Ip Wing Yi Tiffany. Please come onto the stage.
The title of her speech is The Battle Hymn of Dogs and Locusts. You now have 3 minutes. You may begin after the bell rings.
Dogs, locusts, rising property prices. What are you reminded of? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm sure you would have all realized the allusion to a conflict that is stemming deeper and deeper into our lives each day, an escalating tension between mainland and Hong Kong. This cross-border problem must first be solved by joint effort by both governments. You're a customer when you shop here, but you're a criminal when you escape test duties and resell products back in the mainland. Information exchange and tightened border control must be conducted. To complement, Hong Kong can export popular commodities through parallel and proper tradings to suit the needs of genuine customers. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a politician. I'm not here to offer you a proper framework of solutions that will entirely mitigate the problem. Rather, I'm here to request for change in how we look at the problem. There are rising concerns against mainland travelers for pushing up our price levels due to high purchasing power. But wait a second. In a free economy like our market, rising demand from tourists is inherently desirable. We all have the freedom to shop here. Are wealthy tourists who spend in the city really at fault? Harvard professor Michael Sandel poses a question that we should aim to answer. What are the moral limits of the market? This is a choice between expanding the boundaries of free market and a choice between safeguarding certain social and moral values. Should the government intervene, or should it leave the market as it is? This is no easy choice. Look at the problem we're part of today and look at it holistically. Overlooking good qualities and tackling each other's flaws are futile. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, we are humans. We're not dogs, we're not locusts, we are humans with the ability to think rationally. And with this rationality, I hope I've convinced you to understand the complexity of the problem. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we have the choice to decide where we want to be. A state of conflict or a state of harmony? What would you choose? Thank you.
Thank you for your speech. Ms. Farino will now ask you a question relating to your speech. The bell will ring right after the question has been asked, and you'll have 1 minute to respond to the question. Ms. Farino, please.
Thank you, Tiffany. You speak about a choice and that there is no choice but to choose harmony over conflict for the future good of Hong Kong. Given that it is such an emotional issue and possibly could be a result of different social and cultural issues, how do you propose that Hong Kong and mainlanders bridged that gap?
Thank you. Just to reiterate, my point of a choice is actually between whether or not we want to expand the free market, as a lot of people are talking about, or whether certain moral values, such as having certain standards that we want to uphold, even while we're in a free market. We've seen a lot of constraints that we have, such moral constraints that we uphold. But regarding to your question, as in trying to push forward some sort of policies that can bridge people from China and Hong Kong together, I think that really looking at the problem holistically and understanding that it's not just one person's fault is very important. Of course, everybody has flaws, but we all have advantageous characteristics that we cannot overlook. When we're looking at each other, we don't want to recklessly name-call each other dogs or locusts. We want to understand the complexity and deal with it and treat problems like these with a heart of objectivity so that we can try to calm the emotion and objectively solve the problem.
Thank you. A second question will now be asked by Ms. Trotter. Again, The bell will ring right after the question, and you may then respond to the question. Ms. Trotter, please.
Thank you, Tiffany. Many of the city's traditional small family-style shops and restaurants have closed in the past few years. Why do you think this is? And is there a place for such small firms in today's Hong Kong?
Thank you. Indeed, that is a very important problem in our society right now. A lot of the property prices in Hong Kong has been skyrocketing. We've seen how small ownerships have been forced to leave their businesses because they cannot afford the prices. And also we've seen how a lot of tourists, when they come to Hong Kong, they're focused largely into going to big shopping malls, going for all the brands, going for the luxurious products. And I think that certainly small business is a very integral part of a society. They represent a very local culture. And I think what we should do is to promote a lot more diverse industry in Hong Kong and to promote the attraction of small businesses to overseas tourists as well, so that on one hand, they're being protected so that they don't have to face intense competition. But on the other hand, everyone will realize the potential of these people and actually go to these shops to explore these sort of integral culture of Hong Kong that cannot be demonstrated by big brands.
Thank you, Tiffany. Please take a seat.